Hi, I'm Dan Danford. We're shooting another episode of Money Made Easy for DadsDivorce.com. We take questions from the website and I try to provide some kind of helpful insight about the question. Good question today about insurance. What do I need to consider when purchasing life insurance? And when do you recommend somebody purchasing it? Do people young and single need it, or is it only for older people with families? Very common question. Life insurance, of course, can be very important for some people, and that's why it's worth talking about today. The bottom line answer on life insurance is that it takes care of the people around you if something happens to you. So the simple answer to the question is, if there aren't people around you who depend on your income, you probably don't need life insurance. Now that's the simple answer. Depends how much, and it depends what your circumstances are. Some people, don't have children, they aren't married, so life insurance doesn't seem like a big deal. But maybe they provide some support for their parents or for a sibling, and if that's the case, the parents or the sibling might find the life insurance useful if something happens to you. More commonly, though, life insurance is important if you have kids. And since many of the people who look at our website are talking about divorce, my guess is you're talking about probably an ex-spouse and children. So the main point here is that you probably do have some responsibility to those kids if something happens to you. Maybe, if nothing else, some kind of college fund or money that they can use later on in life. And if that's the case, then you need to have life insurance. So, answer to the question is, some people need life insurance and some people don't. Really depends on whether or not you have dependents and whether or not they need your income to go on, even if something happens to you. The second point is that there are a lot of different kinds of life insurance. Life insurance is very complex. The most common and cheapest is called term life insurance. And it's basically pretty simple. The concept is I pay a premium for a specific period of time, and if something happens to me during that specific period of time, then a death benefit is paid to the beneficiary I name. Couldn't be simpler. So, and there's no savings component, there's no investment component. If the year goes by or the 2 years goes by and nothing has happened to me, then the insurance company keeps all the premiums and we both go our merry ways. Now, insurance companies have also created a number of insurance products that do have a savings or investment component, and those may make sense in certain circumstances. But usually the extra cost of those products can be prohibitive, especially for younger people. So if you truly are a younger person with a young family, probably term life insurance is the best. Insurance companies are very, very good at insuring against disaster. That's why they exist, and that's their true purpose. However, when you throw in a savings or investment component, not quite so good. I think most advisors would say that there may be other ways to save that would be more efficient or at least less expensive. So generally speaking, probably look at term life insurance first. Then the next thing is that insurance premiums go up as you get older. Just makes sense. Your likelihood of dying is higher as you get older, and the insurance company expects to be compensated for that. So sometimes it makes sense, especially if you have a family of health problems or something like that, that you're going to have a tough time buying insurance later on down the road, or you might have a tough time buying insurance later on down the road. Sometimes it makes sense to go ahead and buy a policy today with guaranteed insurability so that you will have that insurance in place later on if you have the need and if you're unable to get it at that time without having that guaranteed insurability. So those are kind of the basic primer. A couple of cautions I'm going to give to you here. One is that everybody's circumstance is different. So this is one of those areas where it really doesn't pay to listen to your brother-in-law or your father or your old teacher from school, because their circumstances are different than your circumstances. So just because they say, hey, I think it's a good idea, doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good idea. And then the second one I'll throw in has to do with how insurance is distributed. Most of the time there is an insurance agent involved. Now, I'm a licensed insurance agent in the state of Missouri. I have I have licenses to sell life insurance and health insurance, although I've never sold a single policy of either one. I have the licenses and I keep them in place so I can help people look at their insurance policies, but not because I sell them. But I guess my word of caution I'm going to offer to you is that some of the best salespeople in the entire world work in the insurance industry. So my caution is that they can make it sound very, very good to buy insurance even if your circumstances don't necessarily call for it. So I'm going to refer you back to where we started talking earlier, and I'm going to say this. You decide whether or not you need insurance, and if you do, then you initiate the contact with somebody you trust to help with your insurance needs. Okay? Don't let somebody come to you and talk you into buying something. Instead, you decide whether you need it and then go out and look for it. One last thing I'd touch on here, and you may need expertise to help you with this, but I just want you thinking along the right lines. In today's environment, if you left your heirs $100,000 and they invested that money in Treasury securities, that would pay less than $1,000 or $2,000 a year in income. Now, I want you to think about that for a second. So if you left $100,000 to take care of your kids and they just spent the income on that money, it really doesn't generate very much income for them. So what I'm going to say here is you probably need more life insurance than you think. And that may be why you need to talk to an insurance expert to help you. But again, I'm going to refer you back to, do you need insurance? That's a decision for you to make. And probably be a good idea for you to have some idea about the amount of insurance before you even talk to an agent. Okay, that's the basic primer on life insurance. We'll talk again next time. Money Made Easy on DadsDivorce.com. Thanks.